Patriot Prime Reviews is a channel for adult collectors and may not be suitable for children under 13 years of age. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Patriot Prime here once again with another episode of the SITREP. And this is a special episode because I am involved with the Transform at Home thing that's going on right now, thanks to tformers.com. And my special guest tonight is the one, the only Optimus Prime. Optimus, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing great, Jason. I really appreciate the interview.
Excellent, excellent. I'm looking forward to talking to you. I think I mentioned to you earlier, I first read about you in Iraq when I was stationed there, deployed for Operation Iraqi Freedom. And I believe it was a Toy Fair magazine that they did an interview on you. Is that correct?
Yep. Issue 51, Superfire Homeboy was the name of the article.
Nice.
Picture of the driver's license.
Well, for those of you who don't know watching this, Optimus Prime is his legal name. You had that changed when?
For my birthday, 2001, for my 30th birthday present.
Nice. And I was just showing Optimus for my 40th birthday presents where the Patriot Prime came from. So he's definitely got me there. So I'm assuming that by changing your name to Optimus Prime, you are a huge Transformers fan. Of course, you got your Autobot logo right there on your shirt.
Yep.
What's the reason behind that? Why did you decide to become the legend?
Well, I was an Army firefighter when I had my name legally changed, and it was a big coincidence. The year I changed my name, he was a fire engine mode that year with car robots.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
I remember him as, I think it was the Robots in Disguise line. The only figure I have the Megatron. It's funny. I'm interviewing Optimus Prime, and I am a huge Megatron fan. So,
that's appropriate.
Well, that's pretty cool. So how much grief did you get when that first happened? Of course, the Transformers weren't as popular in 2001. I believe Dreamwave Comics was just starting to reinvigorate the interest in Generation 1.
Yeah, which was a great comic book line. I actually got a little blurb in one of the little fan things in the back of one of those comics, the Micromaster series.
Really? That's good. I'll check it out. I've got some of those. So going back to the name change itself, I'm assuming you're a huge Transformer fan. Probably grew up with Generation 1. Is that where it came from? Optimus Prime was your hero?
Yeah, exactly. What occurred was, like a lot of us, who just, clung on to Optimus when we were children. My dad passed away a year before. So a year later, I heard him talking in the living room, and I ran into the living room because I heard my dad talking. And that cartoon was on TV, and Optimus Prime sounded just like my father. It was uncanny karma, if you want to call it that. And that was the immediate draw was, I'm 13 years old and I heard my dad talking in the living room again.
That's awesome. You were a late bloomer Transformer fan like I was. I think in 84, I was 11.
Yep.
So, when, most of our friends and stuff are in junior high, I'm getting drawn to these transforming robots.
Yeah.
And here, 30 plus years later, you got a whole room full of them. I remember a few years back, I wouldn't be bragging about this like I do now. This is like my secret shame. Yes, I'm a 40-year-old man child that collects toys. Now it's like, here I am.
Yeah, not anymore,
Oh.
Yep, mainstream.
Exactly. Well, that is really cool. So was it hard to do it, to actually change the name?
Not at all. I went down to the Akron County Clerk office, filed the paperwork. You had to wait 30 days in case there was any, contesting. Went down for my court date. They asked what it was about, because you can't have any, vulgarity or, any unsavory things for your name. And then they signed the papers, and it was about 15 minutes.
And Hasbro never came after you?
Actually sat down with them at one of the conventions. Talked things out a little bit because I was a firefighter then. So they were comfortable with my demeanor. Hey, you can't make any money off this, of course, et cetera, et cetera. And we just had a nice talk.
Nice. I just had to get mine to leave the room too.
Yep.
He's watching me play PlayStation 4 Uncharted series, and he loves playing adventure. So he crawls along like the banisters and stuff. Have you ever seen those games? All he does is climb around.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
His highlight of the evening is I have to come home and play the adventure game for at least an hour with him. So that's how I got him to let me have the internet tonight. Nerf gun battle and Uncharted.
Yeah, I don't force the Transformers on them one bit.
I tried.
Okay.
Dylan is more into Imaginext and the Aliens figures. Have you seen those at Walmart?
Yes.
They're like cheap aliens. I bought those for his birthday. And of course, being a collector, these kids benefit by us being collector parents.
Absolutely.
Because you just don't buy him one. I was like, well, I bought him the Queen, but he has to have the power loader to go with it.
Yep.
Now I've got the power loader. I better get the Marine APC. Well, now I need the drone. So he ended up getting a whole set. And what's sad is I bought him that whole alien set for probably the price of a leader class Transformer now.
Yep.
And speaking of which, do you still collect your figures?
I have a select few. I just I don't have the room to have them all over my house. So I do things like some of the comic books. I have them hung up on the wall like pieces of art, a little bit more mature. And I think I have about like 15 robots here in the bedroom.
My wife, this room here, we bought my grandfather's old house. So it was built 100 years ago. So it has multiple bedrooms, and all the bedrooms are fairly small. So I was allowed, this is the farthest bedroom. It's got no heat in it. It's got no air, it has air conditioning in the window. So this has become my man cave. Now the room next door, we turned it into the closet, and then we have the bedroom. So I've got this room. In the TV room, I have some of the old Dreamwave posters. Remember when they first were bringing the Transformers back? So I've got two of those hanging up.
Yep.
And a bunch of those hard hero Transformer busts from a few years back. My wife built little display stands, and I got a bunch of those up.
I got my Prime cookie jars. So.
Oh, you got one of those?
Oh,
sweet. Wow. I remember seeing one of those at a Sears, and I forget. I think a buddy of mine got one for Christmas and ended up breaking it the next day, and that's the only time I ever saw one. It was Sears and in pieces at my buddy's house.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Now, I just got completed 2 of the lunch boxes. I've got the 84 lunch box and the 86 lunch box with Metroplex in the background.
Yep.
So I got the thermos and everything for that. So I'm after, I love the G1 stuff. I'm always after vintage. So we went over what Optimus Prime means to you. What's the appeal of Transformers? I mean, was it you just happened to hear his voice and that's what drew you into the show, or did you kind of like him beforehand?
Oh no, my first experience with him, it was really disappointing. It was that Marvel comic book commercial that came out, the very first you saw him in any kind of art media, and then it says new from Marvel Comics, and you're just like, oh, it's not a cartoon. I was really disappointed watching that.
Well, I'm a complete role reversal for you because my first experience with the Transformers was Marvel Comics issue number 3. I was down at the drugstore with my dad. He was picking up prescription. I was given $1. Hey, go buy a comic book. And here's this awesome comic book with Spider-Man back when he had the black suit, webbing up this giant robot. And I was like, there we go. And I think, like I said, I live in the boonies of West Virginia. And, back in the day, we had an antenna where you picked up 2 channels, 3 if it rained. And I didn't get to see the Transformers because it was in syndication. My first experience with the cartoon was the Ultimate Doom on VHS. And this is back in the day when you rented the player with the video. Y'all remember what VHS is, kids?
The Blockbuster, yeah.
No. But yeah, and then, of course, it just took off for me. So moving on, like modern, aside from Generation 1, which is always the right answer, what's your favorite Transformers fiction?
I know this is going to sound odd, but it's because of a certain character. I really love what they did with Omega Supreme in Transformers Animated. And
he was the Ark, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's always been my favorite character. Not Optimus. Omega's always been my favorite character for a toy, watching him on the cartoons, because he's the last line, and he's just big and gruff, and, that's how I am. And so, yeah, it was that little arc from Transformers Animated, actually, that I like the best from the fiction.
Neat. Well, big as G1 guy as I am, I love Beast Wars. I just love the characterization of or how the characters were developed, because they weren't just in G1. It was all about selling the toys. I'm like, okay, this episode we're going to introduce 20 figures, in the next episode 20 figures, and this one it's stuck with 6. And Beast Wars came out on DVD while I was in Iraq, so I got the whole series, and my whole tent got into Beast Wars because we just passed the discs along. So I made a whole bunch of new fans, but I am currently watching Animated because it's free on Tubi TV.
Okay.
If you've ever heard of that app, I mean, they got Animated, Energon, the Unicron trilogy. I can't remember what all those were. Energon, Armada, and Cybertron.
Yes. Yep.
Those were hard to watch. The animation was just so choppy.
Yeah, but the Beast Wars writers, they just let them go free, and they just did some stellar stuff. That's what brought Transformers back. Beast Wars brought Transformers back.
And what's interesting, if you read about it, is when they did the first episode of Beast Wars, they had no idea about Generation 1, the writers. They just said the Great War. And, of course, us nerds, we hopped all over that.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think a couple episodes later, they introduced the Decepticons and the Dream Sequence.
Yep, sure did. Yep.
So let's see. I had, what's your favorite figure, which you already answered, or what's your favorite character? In your collection, do you have a holy grail? Do you have something that you will never let go of? He is ready for it.
Yep.
Nice. Is that the reissue?
It's the reissue. Yeah, I'm not an original purist. I want to be able to take the toy and play with it and not worry about it sometimes, But Power Master Optimus Prime, this is the big badass Prime who just looks like he's going to wreck your day. And just the beefiness of him. He's just always been my favorite Prime toy, period, to this day.
And there's so much playability with that guy.
Yep.
I actually found that one at TFCon, and it was a random chance experience. The dealer rooms have shut down, and we're all in our rooms, and they're doing these parts parties. Or no, we were invited. It was like a closing party. Hey, everybody come up to such and such room, because you got a room about this big holding 40 people. And as we're walking up, this guy hops out of his room and says, hey, y'all looking for some deals? So we go in. He's got a bunch of third-party stuff. Now, I'm not a huge third-party guy, so I'm getting ready to leave. What's that?
I said I am.
Oh, so. I've got one. I'm starting to get spoiled. So anyway, as I'm leaving, I told him, I said, I don't really see anything I'm interested in. And as I was leaving, he says, well, what kind of stuff do you like? And I said, G1. And he points over to a chair. He's got that Prime. It's out of the box, but still sealed in the plastic. With the stickers are bad. But he says, I'll let you have that for $60.
Well, yeah, man. Yeah. Yep.
So and then I went on toyhax, and I got him all stickered up, and he's in my big display right here. Awesome figure. Now, do you have a white whale figure? Something that is just, this would be, if you would get this figure, you could be done ever collecting figures again.
If I ever wanted to check down money for a Minbella, Minerva.
Oh, okay.
The Headmaster Junior female.
Those are some figures. I don't have any of the Autobot Headmaster Juniors yet. I've read up on how much they're worth.
Yeah, she's 2,000 easy. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Mine's always been a Generation 1 Overlord, and a buddy of mine just recently got it and has been rubbing it in my face.
The newer one's way better, man.
That's my third party. That's the one that I got, the Double Evil, the one that's about that big.
Oh no, I'm talking about the official one that for the Titans. I like that way.
The Titans Return. Yeah, he's a nice one too.
Yeah.
He was my very first YouTube video. I
Okay.
bought a accessory add-on kit for him. And I researched YouTube heavily, and I noticed not one person has reviewed this. So that was my kickoff to this stuff. Had no idea what I was doing. I had my camera set up on one of those old Hardee's Moose Cups, and it was my phone still with the, you know how the belt clip can turn into a tripod?
Yeah.
That's what I did. So it's angled up, looking up my nose, but hey, it worked. Well, that's really cool. So I think we're going with now. So you mentioned that you went to conventions. Did a lot of people like coming up and meeting you and say, hey, I actually got Optimus Prime, and did you ever do autographs, stuff like that?
Yeah, that was the best $100 I ever spent in my life, because it snowballed into this great big grand thing for me and my kid, just all over the world.
That is awesome.
I think the coolest thing ever, we were at a convention, and he was still, a young boy then, and Leonard Nimoy was walking down the hallway, and he came up to my kid and he goes, "How you doing, Sean?" And he's like, "Dad, how does he know my name?" I'm like, "I have no idea how he knows your name." Like, he knew who my kid was.
That's awesome.
And it was just like, I was just floored, God dang, Spock knows who my kid is, and, but that's the best thing, is going to meet all the people. That's the best thing about the conventions, or meeting the people.
I will agree, because like I said earlier, I had my very first convention in 2000. I keep saying 2003, 2013. And then I went again last year, and it was just, I had so much fun just hanging out with people. And it's all a bunch of guys, like us. You don't expect guys like us into this. And you're just sitting down talking robots, and nobody's looking at you weird. And, everybody's having beers and talking about their favorite cartoon episode. It was awesome. And when I left and come back home, it was like, now I'm going to sit here and nobody to hang out with.
Yeah, just when you love something so much, and you get around a bunch of like-minded people, that's where you feel at home at.
Oh yeah. Yep. This is my sports.
Exactly. Right.
Awesome. Well, that's about all I have for you. I really enjoyed talking to you. I don't want to keep you all night, because I know you got a little one too. I can hear mine running around downstairs wanting daddy, daddy, daddy. This quarantine stuff, he has been staying up till midnight, 12:30, getting up at 10 o'clock. Now I still have to go to work because I'm essential. And but the wife and him been enjoying time here at the house. So, but as I said, I really appreciate you taking the time and talking to me, and I hope I wasn't blowing you up too much on Facebook.
Oh no, it's always meeting a fellow brother who served over there. Those were some rough times, and we have these robots to keep us focused and happy.
Exactly. It is definitely our happy place, because I come up here a lot and just zone out. Of course, a lot of it involves dusting. And my biggest problem is I still collect. I just got some new stuff today. I'm not the biggest Bayformer fan, but I couldn't turn down that nice shiny Megatron.
Oh yeah, I want the Devastator Studio Series, hands down. Hands down, I want that.
He looks awesome. I have a fellow veteran buddy of mine who does YouTube videos. He's called Bert the Stormtrooper, and he's been collecting those, and they look amazing.
Yes, they do.
He's airborne out of Florida, like another military guy who does this. I love it. All right. Well, Mr. Optimus Prime, once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and hopefully we were entertaining to the T-Formers community. And I want to thank you guys for stopping by and checking out my video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell icon to get notified when I do upload new reviews. Don't forget the hashtag #TransformAtHome to help enter you into some contests from tformers.com and their very generous sponsors, including me. Once again, Optimus Prime, thank you so much for stopping by and talking to me.
Thank you, Jason. You keep transforming and keep rolling out.
Outstanding. You too as well. And you guys, this is Patriot Prime signing out. Hooah!